A 15-year-old accused of raping a 7-year-old on a school bus in central Indiana has now been charged as an adult. Now, we do want to warn you that some of the details may be graphic. A judge in Jennings County waived Landon Doughty of North Vernon to adult court. According to court documents, the victim suffers from moderate to severe autism and is nonverbal. The family of the victim said he was sexually assaulted multiple times on his school bus. Court documents say the alleged crimes took place on the bus while during the morning-afternoon trip to school in front of other children. Doughty is currently being held at the Jennings County Jail, as he was previously being held at the Juvenile Detention Center in Clark County. Dottie's jury trial is scheduled for October 20th.
A small child remains in critical condition tonight after suffering multiple stab wounds. Now a Sulphur High School employee faces serious charges. Good evening, I'm Stephanie Obadiku. The past school year, 37-year-old Patrick Green worked in the special education department. Tonight we're learning new details about the incident. The St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office says deputies responded to a domestic dispute yesterday and found a 6-year-old child with cuts and stab wounds to the face, neck, and chest. The child was airlifted to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. A spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office describes what deputies found in the home.
And they also immediately found a young child on the floor, bleeding severely from numerous lacerations. Once the medical personnel were on scene, stabilized the child, transported. Subsequently, the child was airlifted to a Baton Rouge facility, underwent immediate life-saving surgery, and received a second surgery this morning.
Authorities also say there were 7 children at the home at the time of the incident. Those children are with family members tonight, and right now, Green is facing counts of domestic abuse, battery, child endangerment, and strangulation. We're told additional charges will be forthcoming. The Calcasieu Parish School Board says Green is on administrative leave.
Something like that in our neighborhood is a little scary.
It's a question a lot of people in this Mesa community are asking tonight. Why would a mom try to kill her 8-year-old son?
It's always tough to hear that. It's just you never know what's going on through their head, and it's just that's a very scary thing to happen.
36-year-old Erica Encinas is facing an assortment of criminal charges: attempted first-degree murder, aggravated assault, assault on a minor, child abuse. Early Sunday morning, Mesa police were called to this home off Broadway Road and Arizona Avenue for a domestic violence call. When they arrived, they found an 8-year-old boy with special needs badly hurt. His mother reportedly told officers that she tried to kill her son multiple times. During an initial court hearing today, a prosecutor told the judge in graphic detail what happened.
First, she tried to hit him over the head with a rock, Your Honor. That did not kill the victim. So then she tried to smother him with a trash bag. That did not work, Your Honor. Then she tried to choke him with a rosary.
The prosecutor also told the judge that when the victim's 12-year-old sister ran over to help, Mom reportedly bit her daughter. Mom had also indicated that she had been planning to kill her son for a while and wanted to drown him in a canal. Mesa police tell us the 8-year-old was taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
5 police cars.
Jay Magana lives across the street and was here Sunday morning when his neighbor was arrested. He said he's heard arguments at the home and police have been called out before, but he never imagined it would lead to something like this.
We're neighbors. I live right across the street from them. Sometimes, families fight. It is what it is. But most of the time I see the kids playing outside, being good, and I usually wave and I just go on about my day and just interact with them. But when you hear something like that from that kind of family, it's shocking. So
just hope they're okay.
I hope everyone's okay.
It is unclear whether or not this mom had a drinking or drug problem or some type of mental illness. CPS has stepped in to make sure the kids are okay. The mother is currently being held on a $250,000 bond. Reporting live in Mesa, Jason Berry for Arizona's Family.
We begin tonight at 6 o'clock with disturbing charges of rape on a school bus in Jennings County.
We first told you about this when a 15-year-old boy was arrested. That was back in April. Today in court, and we were the only ones there with cameras as he faced a judge for the very first time.
And tonight at 6, our Rich Nye shares what unfolded before that teen was taken to jail.
The Jennings County prosecutor alleges that over several weeks, 15-year-old Landon Doty repeatedly sexually assaulted a 7-year-old boy with autism who Doty sat next to on the school bus. Not specifically this bus. Court records say that on April 16th, a bus aide saw the boy on Doty's lap and ordered the driver to stop. The prosecutor says that led to the review of over 300 hours of bus security video recorded between February and April.
There are probably hundreds of incidents over that period of time. Some of them not as serious as the ones charged on the 16th, but there's other conduct that was concerning which led to the waiver.
Hundreds?
Hundreds of touchings.
You are charged with count 1, rape, which is a level 3 felony.
Doty is charged with 4 counts of rape, as well as child molesting and sexual battery, 11 total felonies.
Just the repetitive conduct, the seriousness of it, and the age and victim, him being handicapped, nonverbal. He couldn't tell anybody. That's the most disturbing part.
The alleged victim's parents attended the hearing. We're protecting their identity. I spoke to them after the hearing. They had no comment at this time. The defendant's grandmother was also at the hearing. Doty's grandparents are his legal guardians. Yes, Your Honor, is all Doty said during his initial hearing. Court records say that Doty is of normal intelligence and a good student who had some behavior issues at school. He is now held at the Jennings County Jail on $250,000 surety bond or $25,000 cash. In Vernon, Indiana, Rich Nye, 13 News.
Landon Doty had been held at a juvenile detention center in Clark County since his arrest back in April. That happened on April 17th. He's now due back in court August 15th with his trial scheduled to begin in October.
88 children are in protective custody after the Louisa County deputies conducted a child safety operation. Deputies say this operation took place on June 12th and 13th based on information and reports of child abuse and endangerment. The 88 children who were attendees of the Kingdom Ministry of Rehab and Recreation and the Shehekiana Glory Camp were taken in protective custody, according to these deputies. The deputies say they collaborated with the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation, and Columbus Junction Police Department in this operation. The children were taken to the Wapello Methodist Church to meet with multiple child protection workers, deputies have told us. Deputies have also said that the children were put into temporary foster care to ensure their safety until safe returned to their parents or guardians. Now, this investigation is ongoing. We have heard from the Wapello School District, who told us that their only participation in this event was to allow the Louisa County law enforcement to use school district vehicles to transport the children. We have also spoken to someone with the church, and they have denied the allegations. We currently have 2 crews in the area trying to learn more and talk to people. Make sure you tune in to our newscast at 4, 5, and 6, and we will keep you updated both on air and online. In the KWQC newsroom with a 6 News Now update, I'm Haley Ryan.
County, a middle school teacher arrested after investigators say she sent a nude photo of herself to a 14-year-old student. 28-year-old Oliver Fell turning herself into the Manatee County Jail last night.
Deputies say the investigation into the Hale Middle School teacher began back in March. ABC 7's Rob Wells on the latest on this troubling investigation.
Investigators say the problems began last December when an 8th grade student reported to Hale school officials he was allegedly receiving inappropriate messages and sexually explicit photos from math teacher Oliver Fell.
I don't really have any words. I mean, you know, you talk about the boundaries of professionalism, you know, and teachers enter into friendship sometimes with students, but this goes beyond, obviously, friendship.
The captain says that Fell, who's also taught special education students as well in the past, denied the posts were from her Snapchat. That's when the sheriff went to court seeking paperwork to search her Manatee County home.
Found evidence that contributed to the evidence against her from that photo. We were able to match the photo to her house, to the background in her house and some other things. And then we ultimately wrote those warrants for her, the transmission of harmful material to a minor, as well as the count of lewd conduct by a person and an authority.
In court Tuesday, defense attorneys asked for a $7,500 bond.
She has no prior. She is not a flight risk.
The captain now hoping that anyone else who thinks they may have been a target of the same alleged inappropriate action gives them a call. Rob Wells, ABC 7, your local station.
Judge today setting a $25,000 bond for Mobile County Public School teacher accused of giving a drink containing ethanol to a 4-year-old student. The Collins Road Elementary School student was rushed to the hospital back in April, where doctors say she had a blood alcohol content level of 0.28. The judge ordering the defendant, Tracy Walker, to submit to a drug and alcohol test as a condition of her bond. Her attorney asked the judge for a reasonable bond and argued that she's an achieved 10-year employee with a bachelor's and master's degree from the University of South Alabama with no criminal history. Walker is due back in court for an arraignment. She has been placed on administrative leave.
Horrifying allegations coming out of Jennings County, Indiana tonight, and as a warning, the details of this story are extremely disturbing. A nonverbal 7-year-old student raped on a school bus with no way to even tell anyone what happened.
And a 15-year-old boy now facing multiple felonies in connection to it and who's set to be tried as an adult. WDRB's Richard Essex went to Jennings County, where parents are appalled.
An officer of the court wrote in court papers that it's the worst case that he has ever seen in his 39 years as a court officer, and the actions of the suspect are those of a predator. This is 15-year-old Landon Doty. Usually we don't show you or tell you the names of juveniles accused of crimes, but Doty is being charged as an adult. He's facing 11 felonies, including rape, child molesting, and sexual battery.
It was scary knowing that my kids are going to school here, and I don't even feel safe putting them on a school bus.
According to court documents, Doty's actions were caught on a school bus video camera. The police reports say on April 16th, Doty was spotted holding a 7-year-old's head down to his lap. It then says that Doty is observed to be masturbating. And then it says he grabs the 7-year-old, puts him on his lap, and rapes him. Documents say a school bus aide saw what was going on, told the driver to stop, and they reviewed the video. According to documents, this behavior occurred repeatedly over several weeks. A longtime officer of the court is quoted in the probable cause affidavit saying the actions are considered so heinous that Doty is beyond rehabilitation under the juvenile justice system, and continues to describe him as a predator who knew what he was doing was wrong.
It's sad and it's scary, and my kids don't ride the school bus.
As reported by WXIN in Indianapolis, the family of the victim have now filed a civil suit against the school. The incident outlined in the probable cause happened in April, and charges were filed last week against Doty. The lawsuit claims the district was negligent in its handling of the situation, which caused permanent injuries to the child. The school district issued a statement saying, "We cannot go into any detail about this situation because we are cooperating with an active police investigation and additionally are involved in this litigation." In Jennings County, Indiana, Richard Essex, WDRB News.
Our top story tonight, a 27-year-old is charged with murder after admitting to throwing a baby and fatally fracturing its skull. On your screen is Zachary Williams. On May 25th, police responded to a residence on McWhorter Road in Jane Lew for a baby that was not breathing. The baby was pronounced dead an hour after being taken to the hospital. Police interviewed the parents and grandparents of the child. At that time, the father, Zachary Williams, told police that the baby went limp and became unresponsive, while Williams attempted to soothe him before a nap. But during the baby's autopsy 2 days later, police determined that a child had sustained a severe skull fracture on the back of his head. Police interviewed both parents after the autopsy was done, and during which Williams confessed to throwing the baby out of frustration, causing the baby to hit his head on a bed frame and the floor. Williams is now being held at the Central Regional Jail. No bond is set.
Father faces a murder charge in the death of his 5-year-old daughter. Court documents reveal the disturbing allegations against Zachary Arnold. Prosecutors say 5-year-old Zara endured abuse for years, including earlier this month. That's when they say Zara's mother called police after she says she saw Arnold strangling Zara at a restaurant. Investigators then found security video showing him grab the girl by the neck. Prosecutors also charged Arnold's ex-girlfriend, Andrea Lopez. Documents say she witnessed the abuse and never reported it.
A woman is now working with police after she says she shot a man who she says was trying to sexually assault her 12-year-old daughter. Court documents reveal that police responded to the shooting at the Baymont Inn on Eagle View Drive. Officers say when they got there, they learned that the girl and her sister had met up with their mom and a man named Bruce Pierce in the hotel lobby. After going back to a hotel room, the mom was carrying bags to the car and the girl stayed behind in the room with Pierce. That's when she says he tried to assault her while holding a gun and even ripping her clothes. According to the documents, the mom then came back into the room. She saw what was happening and she fired at Pierce using her own gun. Pierce went to the hospital. The girl was checked out at Riley Hospital. Pierce has multiple previous child molestation convictions and now has a warrant out for his arrest on new charges that include child molesting, rape, and unlawfully owning a firearm.
After her 3-year-old daughter went missing in Maryland.
Police now say the woman admitted to killing the young girl after reporting her missing. 31-year-old Darian Randall reported her 3-year-old daughter Nola Dinkins missing Tuesday. She told police that a man kidnapped the child at gunpoint. Investigators now say that's not true.
Court documents reveal Randall confessed to beating the child to death, then having her boyfriend get rid of the body. Randall tonight is charged with first-degree murder and child abuse.
Bloomington have arrested a man that they say tried to kidnap a child at a movie theater. A little 7-year-old girl told police that she was just leaving the bathroom at the theater last Friday with her sister when a man grabbed her and then tried to force her into the men's restroom. The girl says he left red marks and a scratch on her arm. Thomas Stinson now is in custody and charged with kidnapping and battery. He's due in court this Friday.
Notorious murder case from a quarter-century ago is back in the headlines tonight.
The man convicted of murdering his 2-year-old daughter by dousing her with gasoline and then setting her on fire has died in prison.
So I let her enter next to the car. I took the gasoline, poured it on her, took a match and threw it on her.
That was the shocking videotape confession from Sean Grell in 1999. The case made national news. He told his little girl, Kristen, he was going to take her to see some Christmas lights. Her body sadly found in the desert near Apache Junction. Grell was sentenced to death row in 2001. Then 12 years later, the state Supreme Court overturned his sentence after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled executions of mentally deficient defendants was cruel and unusual punishment. He died in prison in Tucson. Department of Corrections isn't saying how he died, just that it is under investigation.
Family is mourning a 2-year-old boy. Police say that child's mother's boyfriend has been charged with child neglect resulting in death. According to the criminal complaint, back on May 10th, the toddler's mother went to work and left her son with her boyfriend, DeAndre Whitfield, at their home on the 300 block of West 9th Avenue in Huntington. The complaint says Whitfield, who's from Chicago, began filling the bathtub and placed the child in it as it was filling. Police say Whitfield then left the child unattended as the tub was continuing to fill, and when he returned to the bathroom, he found the boy unresponsive and not breathing, with his face partially in the water. The complaint says Whitfield got the child out and asked a neighbor for help, and the neighbor drove them to the ER. Police say the boy was placed on life support and died a few days later on May 14th. Chief Phil Watkins says their investigation resulted in Whitfield's arrest. Police say he is also charged with being a fugitive from justice. That is connected with an active parole violation warrant stemming from a prior robbery and weapons offenses out of Springfield, Illinois. Andrew Colgrove, WSAZ, Huntington.
A child died at an area daycare.
Tonight, the state has suspended the daycare's license, and they, along with local authorities, are investigating this death. Family members of 3-year-old Conrad David Wade Ashcraft filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Poppy's Playhouse. He died less than a week ago. This happened in Park Hills, which is a little more than an hour away from downtown St. Louis in St. Francis County. Tonight, Morgan Harris spoke to Conrad's aunt about what led up to her nephew's death.
He was just the most sweetest child, you could ever meet. He was nonverbal, autistic, so he didn't talk.
Lacey Hardy is now serving as the voice for her late nephew, 3-year-old Conrad Ashcraft, and their family. Ashcraft died Friday, May 16th at Poppy's Playhouse 2 in Park Hills.
This baby deserves justice. He did not deserve this.
His family is now suing the daycare. According to the lawsuit, a daycare employee suffocated Conrad by applying weight pressure to force him to sleep. According to Hardy, Conrad's mother found him when she showed up for pickup.
She went to go wake him up and found him deceased. She knew right then and there that he was gone.
The St. Francis County Sheriff's Department released a statement Monday revealing they would lead the investigation, saying, quote, due to the daycare being owned by a Park Hills City Council member. The city confirmed to First Alert 4 in a statement, Councilmember Spring Gray submitted her resignation.
I'm glad that it's shut down.
The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education is also investigating Conrad's death. We obtained a letter sent to Spring Gray saying Desi is immediately suspending its child care license. The letter goes on to say Tiffany Hedrick laid Child A on his stomach and trapped his arms into his tucked blanket, as well as covered Child A with an 18.2-pound weighted blanket. Hedrick held Child A down and never checked on him again after she believed he fell asleep. According to the letter, no staff checked on Conrad until a parent arrived approximately 4 hours later. It goes on to say a compliance inspector observed a May 16th video interview of Hedrick. According to the inspector, Hedrick discussed the child was being difficult at nap time by crying and whining.
If anybody knows anything about autistic children, you do not run on any kind of schedule with them.
First Alert 4 found compliance reports against the daycare, including one DESE inspection from March of 2025, after an investigation found the child had swallowed oil from a diffuser.
This isn't going to be swept underneath the rug. We will make sure of that. We will make sure we get justice for Conrad.
A memorial now sits outside of Poppy's Playhouse 2, where, according to Conrad's aunt, he only started attending a few weeks prior. Now, there are multiple Poppy's Playhouse locations. It's unclear if those are still operating. The family tells me the Park Hills community is really stepping up in their time of need. Look inside this story on the First Alert 4 News app to find out how you can do so as well. In the studio, Morgan Harris, First Alert 4.
Morgan, thank you.
Police now say 2 parents are charged for leaving a teenager and animals in unsafe living conditions and going to Florida. It happened back in May. Officers say when they got to the home on Park Drive, they talked to a 17-year-old who lived there. But the teen had their mother on the phone and gave authorities permission to enter. Officers say inside they found 3 dogs and 39 living cats, as well as several dead cats and animal feces throughout the house. Police said they also found 20 more dead cats in a freezer outside the home. Officials say Alicia and Justin Capps left the teen at home by themselves while they went to Florida. They're each facing 3 charges of ill treatment of animals and 1 charge of unlawful neglect of a child. The judge gave them both a $25,000 bond.
Our other big story this morning developing in the town of Washington. State police there trying to figure out what happened to a mom and her baby after they were found seriously hurt.
So the pair were reported missing yesterday morning. Your reporter Owen Kingsley live in Washington working to learn more for us this morning. Owen, what's the latest?
Well, everything started on Brinsmaid Road yesterday morning as a silver alert for a 27-year-old woman and her baby boy. Now, those two were last seen earlier that morning on Sunday, leaving their home. It was later in the day that state police found the two suffering serious injuries. They did not share any more specific details about how badly they were hurt. State police cleared the scene minutes before we arrived around 4 o'clock this morning. So far, they have not told us if there are any suspects or if any arrests have been made. Police have asked media to come set up about 5 minutes away. That's why we're here right now in the center of town. We are still waiting to hear from state police, though, whether or not there have been any suspects or arrests connected to this case. As we learn more, we'll continue to update you. Your reporter in Washington, Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Where police found an infant living in a house with dozens of animals, both dead and alive.
The baby's parents are right here on your screen. Kayla Renard and Nicholas Foley, they're both charged with unlawful conduct toward a child and multiple counts of ill treatment of animals. Fox Carolina's Brooklyn Cromer is bringing us an update from the police chief who says this is one of the worst scenes he's ever seen.
Behind me is the home where police found the 8-month-old baby. You can see crime scene tape is still surrounding the house after police responding to a welfare check found a decomposing goat and more than 3 dozen animals living inside.
There's no rhyme or reason. I mean, it's just poor parenting. That's all I can think of. That's not normal, that's for sure.
Honea Police Chief Chris Miller, a former homicide investigator, calls this case one of the worst he's encountered in the 3 decades he's worked in law enforcement.
It was just one of the most horrific scenes that I've ever been a part of in 30 years.
Concerns about an infant's safety led officers to this home on Shirley Avenue. The Department of Social Services requested Honea Police Department's help with a welfare check.
Once my officers went inside, they discovered just piles of trash, animal feces. There were several different types of animals running around. There was raccoons, chickens, cats, dogs.
Then they opened the door to something even more unnerving.
There was a dead goat in the bathtub in the bathroom that had been there decomposing for several days. And having an 8-month-old living in that, it just was horrific.
Officers captured these photos inside the home. Animals roaming freely alongside others confined in cages. Anderson County Paws helped remove them, and the shelter is now providing care and treatment. Chief Miller says the parents' lack of emotion stood out most.
You would think that they'd be a little upset that someone was taking their 8-month-old baby, and you would think that they had to know that they're in trouble.
The chief says the baby is doing well and has been placed with a relative. The child's parents were each issued a $10,000 bond. Reporting in Honea, Brooklyn Cromer, Fox Carolina News.
The man who killed his pregnant girlfriend and threw her young son off a bridge will serve 95 years in prison.
Riley Kramer was in court today for his formal sentencing. Though the family of Kaylin and Caden Johnson did not say anything in court today, they were here to watch this chapter close. Back in March of 2022, Brennan Murphy turned himself in and admitted to shooting and killing 24-year-old Kaylin Johnson, who was pregnant, and throwing her 2-year-old son Caden off a bridge where he later died. Why the baby? Murphy's lawyer, Rob Ray, said it was important to Murphy to apologize during the formal sentencing, but the victim's aunt told us the one-sentence apology was fake and insincere. The family declined to speak or give a statement in court, but they've been at every hearing since the beginning. In a statement given to WAFB, she said, "I could care less about what happens to him. He didn't care about what happened to them. If we wouldn't have been on it like we were on it, that boy would still be free, running wild." Murphy's attorney said this was a tough case and he struggled to communicate with Murphy a lot of the time. He says he believes his mental health played a role in his crimes.
I'm also sorry for the family. This is a devastating loss and all. And I think if we could have anything good come out of it, I would ask everyone just to pay a little bit more attention to mental health and check those around you and just make sure everyone's, going the right way.
Judge Louise Hines gave him a total of 95 years, which was the maximum sentence he could receive. Outside the courthouse, Riley Kramer, WAFB 9 News.
Case that we've been following for over 2.5 years now. In just the last hour, Tori Moore was sentenced in a Montgomery County court to 3 consecutive life sentences for the murder of his girlfriend, unborn son, and a convenience store clerk. Rafael Sanchez Cruz is live at the courthouse with the very latest details on this. Rafa?
Yeah, that's right, Simone. There was no motive offered for these 3 murders. The judge made it pretty clear today that the only person who knows why these murders happened is 34-year-old Tori Moore. Now, the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office asked for the maximum sentence, which is 3 life sentences without parole, but the judge decided today on 3 life sentences. So let me walk you through how we got to here. Back in November, a jury found Tori Moore guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of his girlfriend, 26-year-old Denise Middleton, and their unborn son, Ezekiel. Investigators say Middleton was 8.5 months pregnant when she was shot 7 times by her boyfriend. The mother and fetus's decomposing bodies were found by police inside the couple's Silver Spring apartment. The reason why police were able to locate these bodies was because hours prior to the home search, Moore had shot and killed a gas station employee. Prosecutors say that in December of 2022, Moore entered the convenience store where he had been banned and opened fire on Ayalu Wandomu. Moore's defense attorney argued today that this man is dealing with schizophrenia and that he loved and cared for his girlfriend, a comment that was not taken well by prosecutors and Middleton's family.
I'm very satisfied with what the state's attorneys did. I appreciate their work. They did good work. The detectives did good work. And I'm very proud that we got justice. And rest in peace, Denise, Ezekiel. We got your back. You're going to be missed.
Mr. Middleton, did you want to hear anything today?
Did I what?
Mr. Moore, did you want to hear something from him today?
Well, a good explanation would have been good, yeah. I would have liked to hear him why.
And I will want to say that Moore was given the opportunity to speak today before his sentencing. He chose not to. Now, State's Attorney John McCarthy was telling us that due to the guidelines that are set, Moore could be eligible for parole, but that eligibility would come when he is 90 years old. I want to mention, Simone, that this is a historic case in Montgomery County because it's the first time they're able to press murder charges for the fetus in this case, for Ezekiel. So a lot to take in this case. We'll have more in the 5 and 6 o'clock hour. I'm live in Montgomery County. Rafael Sanchez Cruz, WUSA 9.
Tori Moore serving 3 consecutive life sentences. Rafa, thank you.